Office has announced in a statement that His Majesty King Mohammed VI has given his high instructions to the government to adopt free of charge vaccination against the COVID-19 epidemic for the benefit of all Moroccans. Morocco records 2,900 new cases of COVID-19 infection and 3,450 recoveries over the past 24 hours. And the Kingdom and the European Union launch group of friends for elimination of violence against women and girls. The Royal Office has announced in a statement that His Majesty King Mohammed VI has given his high instructions to the government to adopt free of charge vaccination against the COVID-19 epidemic for the benefit of all Moroccans. This lofty royal gesture draws its essence from the sovereign's continuous high royal solicitude and human benevolence towards all components of the Moroccan people since the outbreak of the first case of this virus in Morocco. His Majesty the King, may God preserve him, had chaired on November 9th a working session dedicated to the vaccination strategy against COVID-19 as part of the continuous monitoring by the sovereign of the evolution of this pandemic and measures to fight its spread and protect the health and safety of citizens. Morocco has recorded 2,900 new cases of the novel coronavirus over the past 24 hours, while 3,450 COVID-19 patients have recovered in the same period, according to the Ministry of Health. A total of 50 coronavirus-related deaths were registered in the past day, taking the death toll to 6,370. The fatality rate stands at 1.7%. There are 961 patients in a critical or severe condition, the ministry added. The House of Representatives has adopted in Rabat in second reading the Appropriation Bill number 6520 for the year 2021. The bill was approved by a majority of 61 deputies and rejected by 36 during a plenary session chaired by Habib Malki, Speaker of the Lower House. The 2021 Appropriation Bill is based on three major guidelines, namely the acceleration of the implementation of the recovery plan for the national economy, the launch of the first phase of the generalization of social coverage, and the strengthening of the basis of exemplary nature of the state and the optimization of its functioning. The Sustainable Development Goals were at the heart of the talks on Tuesday in Rabat between the Minister of Justice, Mohammed bin Abdul Qadir, and the resident representative of the United Nations Development Programme, Edward Christo. The two officials have focused on cooperation projects related to the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goal 16, aimed at promoting the advent of peaceful and inclusive societies for the purpose of sustainable development and ensuring access of all to justice, according to a press release from the Ministry of Justice. A statement by the Ministry of Energy, Mining and the Environment, Department of the Environment, has said that Morocco has been ranked fourth in terms of global climate performance, according to the 2021 Climate Performance Index report. In this recent report, released by non-governmental organizations, German Watch the Climate Action Network and the German New Climate Institute, Morocco comes after Sweden, Great Britain and Denmark. First in Africa and in the Arab world, Morocco owes this position to its determined contribution at the national level, considered among the most ambitious at the international level, thanks to its alignment with the trajectory of a global warming of less than 2 degrees Celsius in accordance with the Paris Climate Agreement, as well as the efforts made as part of its energy strategy for the development of renewable and clean energy, according to the ministry. Morocco's permanent representative to the United Nations in New York, Ambassador Omar Hilal, and his counterpart from the European Union have launched, in collaboration with the ambassadors of Argentina, Mongolia, New Zealand, Turkey and Namibia, the Group of Friends for the Elimination of Violence Against Women and Girls. The launch ceremony of the Group of Friends was attended by the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Ms. Amina Mohammed, one of the main supporters of this initiative, and more than 200 representatives of member states, the UN system and civil society who share the ambition to eliminate violence against women and girls. And now world news. A 90-year-old woman from Northern Ireland has become the first person in the world to receive the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine outside trial conditions, marking the start of the UK's mass vaccination program. Margaret Keenan from Inniskillen said she felt so privileged to receive the vaccine.
At the moment, I don't know how I feel. It's just so strange and so wonderful, really. Yeah, so anyway, this is for a good cause, so I'm so pleased I had it done.
The UK will be the first country in the world to start using the Pfizer vaccine after regulators approved its use last week. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson.
1 in 3 people is passing it on without even having any symptoms at all yourself. Do you see what I mean? So you can be a secret spreader of the disease. And I don't think people have grasped that. And it's very, very important in the weeks ahead that everybody understands.
The Oxford AstraZeneca COVID vaccine is safe and effective, giving good protection, researchers have confirmed. Most in the study were younger than 55, but the results so far indicate it does work well in older people. The peer-reviewed data in the Lancet journal also suggests the vaccine can reduce the spread of COVID, as well as protect against illness and death. More with health reporter Philippa Roxby.
We heard a bit last month about some of the recent data from the phase 3 trials of this Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and now they've actually been published, so the full data has been made available to us. And it confirms what we knew, that this vaccine is safe and effective. It protects against illness in 70% of people, and there were no hospitalizations or severe disease from COVID-19. So this backs up what we thought we knew, and this is important to the UK because the UK has ordered 100 million doses of this vaccine, and it's hoping it's going to get through the approval process quite quickly in the coming weeks. All this data is with the UK regulator right now, the MHRA, and they will be analysing it very carefully. There's a couple of things we didn't know, which is that most of the participants in this big study of 23,000 people were under the age of 55. So at the moment they don't have quite enough data to say how well it works in older age groups, but that's something they'll be able to build up over time. But they do know that the immune response in older age groups did look to be good in earlier stages of the trial, so they're quite confident that it will work well in older age groups. There's also a hint that this vaccine could reduce transmission of the disease, and that's something that was hinted before, and it's potentially, again, appears in this data, but it's still too early to say for definite. They also don't yet know how long the protection from this vaccine will last for, but that's something they can analyse over time. The Oxford researchers said that they hope it will be soon, before Christmas, and of course that will add to the Pfizer vaccine, which is already being rolled out today, and give the UK and most of the world a choice of vaccines, which is only going to help to end the pandemic in the long run.